Space, the final frontier. My name is Captain Foley, and these are my adventures.
Captain's log. Today, 2015-07.30. Welcome back, everybody. Captain Foley here. That was the worst Captain Kirk impression ever recorded in the history of mankind. But you guys saw it first. You saw it exclusively right here on Captain's Log. Alright, so we got a lot of comments and questions on the last video, which I'll have to address. And a lot of things I want to talk to you guys about. So this might be a little bit longer video. If it is, I apologize if you don't want to watch it because it's long. That'll really hurt me in my feeling place, because I have those, I think. I don't know if they've been installed yet. Maybe on Tuesday. Anyway, let's get right into it. First one is from Robert Monroe. He made a comment regarding the Confederate flag thing on my last video, but it got cut off the end of it. And basically this is him just summarizing what it said. I copied and pasted the whole statement, the whole last line of the comment. It said, if you agree, feel free to like, comment, or stick it to the man, and if you disagree, feel free to take a long stroll off a short pier with rocks in all your pockets. And Galvers said, sir, when will we see another video about one-hit wonders? Maybe you lads can take the Cardassian dynamic duo, the Hewtit and the Norrin class. Well, yes, we're still trying to space out, the 4 different main shows, but now that we have mission briefings and stuff, I don't know how that's going to work exactly, because we have certain ones filmed and just edited, and then we release them. We've kind of shuffled the arrangement. There is no first Saturday of the month is a certain program. That's kind of gone to the wayside to make room for whatever we have done, and we've got a lot of stuff done, which we'll get into later. So there's a lot on the way, and so we're just going to kind of release them as it goes. We've got some one-hit wonders and stuff ready, and yes, we'll definitely look at these ships eventually, as we'll look at all ships eventually. Just takes time. I hope you guys understand that. Josh Spencer, one of our guest stars and a friend of mine from Michigan, says, I claim calling the BSG reviews Fleet Yards. So that would be if we ever did any Battlestar Galactica reviews, and I think Fleet Yards is an awesome name, Josh. Next is from Saquist. He said, good comment, Robert Monroe, about taking a long stroll off a short pier with rocks in all your pockets. My dad said that a lot growing up. And then he goes on to say, yes, gate yards, or just call everything outside of Trek as shipyards, including Star Wars, Stargate, anything else. So shipyards, which is interesting. We'll see. I like that. And then Robert Monroe said thank you to him for the comment. Now the next one's from B Pizzano 1. Awesome Captain's Logs. Thanks for answering my questions. Trek on. No problem. Thank you for tuning in and putting up with me. Next comment is from SFB Addict. For the bloopers, you'll have to do your ums to music. Yeah. I think that'd be funny, but that'll take a lot of skill on Samuel's part to cut out all the ums and create something unique. But it's a great idea. I've seen videos like that done before, and it'll be funny as hell. So Josh commented on this as well, Josh Spencer. Don't tempt him. He's got the auto wrap app. Yes, I do. I've done a Trekyards auto wrap. I don't know. I believe it's saved. It was kind of funny though. Josh has heard it, I believe. But yeah, I don't know if you guys will ever hear it, unfortunately. And then Michael Wetgen said to Josh Spencer, sounds like a perfect temptation then. Well, generally it would be, but like I said, I'd have to go through and collect and gather all my ums. Because last time I made the comment that I say a lot when I'm talking, and I do. And yes, I know that it's not the best thing to do, and you should try to erase that from your vocabulary, and I've been trying. We'll see how it goes. The next comment is from Stephen Donahue. I hear crickets? Ha, not so. Your stuff is always great fun. Okay, well, thank you very much, Steve. I tend to disagree. A lot of times I watch these back, or while I'm doing them, I'm going, you guys are bored stiff, and you've already tuned out. So I can do whatever I want to do, and nobody will see it. But thank you anyway. Next is from Keith Burr. I agree with you on the engine strut thing. You hit the nail on the head when you said the engines produce no thrust. That's the problem people keep getting hung up on. When a ship is at warp, the ship is not moving. Space is moving. That is an excellent way around Einstein's theory of relativity. When you approach the speed of light, time slows down so you barely age, but the people you leave behind grow older and die. That is why Star Trek was so cutting edge when it came out. The general population weren't even thinking in ways like this, even though Einstein's theory was close to 50 years old by then. Science fiction was lacking real science and heavy on the fiction. I'm now I'm really rambling. Take it away, Captain. Again, I hear those crickets. You guys don't hear that? It must be crazy. Now it's time for me to ramble instead of him. Darby Fox Conway is the next one. Comment management and managing a community gets harder as the channel and community grows. Do the best you can. I can't imagine people expect a response to all comments, which would be frankly impossible with the amount we get lately. Try not to discourage discussions if at all possible, but I do appreciate the amount of notifications you are getting. One solution may be to set up an email specific for notifications, one that has the functionality to group comments to. It may help with management and the headache. Always. Anyways, keep up the great work. Yes, I don't have a problem with discussions on the site at all. Just the last time I made a point that there are complete discussions that turn into things totally irrelevant, like a 2-sentence or a 2-word comment to answer a 1-word comment, which I get notifications for, which is crazy to me. Like, keep them relative to what we're talking about and keep them concise and when you get off topic, don't answer with like yes, and then I get an alert for that. So also, there was one guy on the latest video. He commented on it 5 times to point out different things. While you're watching the video, write them all down and then comment in one comment all 5 things with the time indexes that you're referring to, instead of doing it each individually, because I got 5 notifications as opposed to just 1 then. So keep that in mind, guys, if you could. And yes, I'm going to work on, I've already turned off my subscriber notifications, which I was getting a lot of, because our subscriber rate is going through the roof now. So I've turned off the subscriber notifications, and I'm looking into ways to manage the comments. So thank you for the suggestion, though. Next is in a Blue Moon 1, which, speaking of which, the Blue Moon is, I believe, tonight, the 30th of July. So Blue Moon 1, there you go. Stargate SG-1 gives me goosebumps. Do one on the Highlander's barge. No idea what that is. Samuel, you take it from here. We'll probably do Stargate at some point, maybe. I'm not a huge Stargate fan. We've already gone over this. But next is Ron Anderson. The great thing about Canada is that you give Americans someone to look up to. Aww. Of course, America has always given you someone to look down on. True. Maybe. Both literally and figuratively. And then we go on to Warren Ripley. No questions or anything, just wanted to say I love the direction the show is going. Keep up all the great work. Watching all the ships and tech related stuff, plus all the great interviews, is the highlight of my YouTube time each week. That is great to hear. Thank you very much, Warren Ripley. I really like hearing that kind of stuff. And Commander Calkins commented on that as well. He said, thanks, Warren. Hope you keep watching and love what we bring out every week. Plus, some of the new stuff we have planned. Thanks. And we got lots of new stuff planned. As always, Trekyards is always making life difficult for ourselves by adding to the channel. But we'll get into some of that after the comments. SWGS. Have you thought about making a sub-forum for Trekyards on Reddit? There people could speak on off-topic without making you angry. It's not that they make me angry. It's just that it gets a little frustrating sometimes. And yes, I do get irritable from time to time. But I don't really know what Reddit is. I mean, we just recently got an Instagram account for Trekyards. So I'm not big on a lot of that social media. We have an Instagram account, we have a Twitter account, which we never really use. So I don't know, maybe I'll look into the Reddit thing. I don't know how that works exactly, so great suggestion, thank you. Where are we here? And then NC1701 Dan, one of the regular commenters on here. Oh, wait a minute. I think I missed one. Hold on. I'm scrolling back here. Bum, 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 ba-da-da-da. All right. Mr. Martecci first. Sorry there, Dan. It's always great to get to know a little bit more of your thoughts and background information about the channel and Trekyards in general. Having a special about non-Star Trek ships sounds like an awesome idea, and I would personally love to see maybe even an Omega Destroyer being covered here. Like I said, anything is possible. Other than that, could there possibly be a special about how our well-known Captain Foley got his command? I think it could just be interesting to get to know a little bit more about the Starfleet captain that isn't stranded in the Delta Quadrant, saving the galaxy from godlike creatures all the time, or fighting at the Dominion War while being a religious leader as a side job. Wow, you really don't like Voyager or Deep Space Nine, I guess. I'm a big fan of all Star Trek, but anyway. Yeah, well, one of the main things that made me a captain was right here. See, back in the glory days, I was a red shirt with Kirk and crew. See me there? Back when I was much younger. So, considering the fact that I survived being a red shirt with Kirk and crew, I think I've earned the rank of captain. It's funny, me and Samuel are actually working on a Trekyards project, which I'll kind of mention later, which might kind of get into that eventually, but moving right along. NC1701 Dan, here we go. Back to you, my friend. Would never laugh at you, Stuart. Just with you. And yes! on the Audi R8 over the base Lambo. NC1701 Dan, I really like you. I think we could get along. We could have a beer together. I agree with the whole ape brain stuff. People need to stop using today's world thinking. Star Trek is set in the future, not today. If something doesn't look right to you, get over it. Creative license. If it's too thin, maybe you need to widen your view, not widen the nacelle struts. That is beautifully said, Dan, and I totally agree. I don't think I could have put it quite as eloquently as that, but I really appreciate that you commented so that I could read that and share it with everybody. Thank you very much. Michael Lohr, love the Camaro. Have you ever thought about doing some progress report specifically on the Camaro? Yes, I've thought about it, but I'm not a mechanic, so I need help from my neighbor, and I don't want to bother him necessarily with me filming everything that's going on. I just kind of want to get the car up and running, and it looks beautiful. It looks great from the outside. Honestly, it does. You need to check out my pictures on Facebook of the Camaro, but it'll get there. It's in the process, and I've been very busy lately, and money's kind of So I mean, we're working as best we can. The carburetor's still out getting repaired, not repaired, but rebuilt. I just got the starter motor back. It'll be going in soon, and a new fuel filter, and then brake lines, and we should be good to go. So it shouldn't be too bad at all. But thank you for the interest. I would love to do some Camaro updates, and I probably will once it's a little closer to being finished. And then Sackwist again. I don't see a location on Trekyards.com to divert our annoying comments to Stuart. Can you provide a link? Not quite sure what you mean by that, but no. Like, and are credibility killers. I have no credibility to you, Sackwist? This makes me sad. I do say a lot, and I don't mean to. I remove them from my everyday language by first making complete thoughts before I thought, and when on stage, I have always created detailed, noted summaries. When I first got started, I actually scripted everything. Then after I was more knowledgeable, I went to notes and summaries. See, that's the problem. I script things on Trekyards very heavily so that when I read it, I sound intelligent, more intelligent than I probably really am. But I can read it, I can see it. If I'm just going off the top of my head, just on points, I'm going to say a lot, and I don't want to. So that's why we heavily script Trekyards. Samuel doesn't really stick to the script most of the time. He kind of uses it as a guideline, which is fine. But I'm more of a read it a few times, get it right in my head, and then I can kind of improvise on the fly sometimes. But yeah. So once you know your material, resist the urge to fill every moment with the sound of your own voice. Remember, you're on YouTube and you can not only edit out the ums, but pauses too. I know that, and Samuel does all the editing for Trekyards. He doesn't really... He tries to edit a lot of that stuff out, but he's not really... He finds it not really necessary half the time. So a lot of them stay in, much to my chagrin sometimes, but that's okay. I mean, I understand that it's hard work to edit that stuff out. But... filling the sound with my own voice, I agree with that. I'm one of those people that if I'm having a conversation on the phone with somebody and they're not saying anything and it feels awkward, I feel the need to fill that silence with something, even if it's irrelevant, and that sometimes might make me sound like an idiot. And it's just a OCD thing that I have, and I wish I could beat it, but this is an important step to being a good interviewer and stage presence. So remember, silence is far better than Yes, I'm working on it, so just bear with me. Michael Yeager, where did you get the screensaver? I've addressed this many times before. A lot of them are just ones I found over the years, so I don't even remember where they came from or whatever, but most of them are flash animations that I either converted into a screensaver or I have on a constant loop. Like a video loop. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to answer that question 15,000 more times in my life, because I can't tell you specifically where I got any of them. So Max Ryder says, ha 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 ha, British Light, love it. Batman Adam West? Don't worry about the ums, I do it all as well. I do it a lot as well. Trekoff, is that Chekhov's cousin? Alright, there's a few things to explain here. I was talking about something in my last Captain's Log where I couldn't remember, or I was talking about Argo, the movie Argo, and how it starred Ben Affleck, but I couldn't think of Ben Affleck's name at the time. So instead I said Batman. So he's referring to Adam West. So that's what that's about. Don't worry about the ums, he does that a lot as well. Thank you for that. I feel less like an idiot. And at the end of the thing I said, Trek off, bitches. That's from the Trek Off podcast. That's how they close out the show. I said Trek Off or Trek On. And he's like, Trek Off, is that Chekhov's cousin? Which is funny. BS Dandrum 27. Batfleck, he says. Yes, thank you. I realized it after the fact, and while I was editing the video, I added annotations to it on YouTube. If you watched it on your computer, you'd see them. Where it says, Ben Affleck, you idiot, kind of on screen, because I sound like a... Yeah, I couldn't think of his name, so. Dead Lies 10. Deadliest Envelope. That's what it is. That's the next one. Got a question, Captain. What was the TNG crew up to during the Dominion War? And was the E ready during or after the war? Thanks. Don't know. I'd have to research that a little bit. I'm sure they were out patrolling the Romulan border like they were in First Contact, and I don't know, the Enterprise I think was finishing up just around the time the Dominion War was, probably, but I'd have to look into that, so I can't give you a definitive answer on that, and I apologize. Simon D. G'day mate, first time I have seen your Captain's Logs and I'm looking forward to the next one, but my question for you is, do you know if Star Trek Axanar will be shown in cinemas worldwide as I live in Australia? It's not going to be shown in cinemas. It is going to be on YouTube, and it will be free to watch. It is not a for-profit movie. It's a fan-done endeavor, so they have no authorization from CBS, so they can't make money off of it. So you'll be able to watch it for free no matter where you are. Michael Lohr, thanks for the Captain's Log videos. Awesome that you take the time out to read fan messages and talk about things in general. I noticed over your laptop you have a new circular graphic on the wall. Could you hold that up and describe, please? This one, which I moved. I'll get to that in a minute. I'll show you one right quick. That's exactly the same. That's right there. It's going to be over my shoulder in all Trekyards episodes in the future. Right there. Oh, it's so hard to steer this thing when I can't really see what the hell I'm doing. Alright, there you go. USS Executioner, NCC 612674, and that's my new emblem that I designed for my TOS crew, as it were. That's my Star Trek, one of my Star Trek Online ships, my favorite one, which is a TOS Connie. So yes, that is still behind me, but I've moved it so that when I sit like this, you can, yeah. It's kind of dark though. I'll explain who did that later. That's on my notes. You know who you are. So Richard Cook, how do I send you a pic if a NCC Starship... How do I send you a pic of an NCC Starship that I think is cool and would like to see what you think about it, or if you know about it? You can send it to trekyards.com. No, not trekyards.com. Sorry. You can send it to trekyards@hotmail.com, and we will definitely take a look at it, Samuel and I, and we'll maybe discuss it in my next Captain's Log. BS Dandrum 27 again. The Confederate flag is a symbol of men who stood against the corrupt and federal government. They fought against the very same thing we are witnessing now. Unfortunately, the victor writes history. True, and I'm not going to get into this whole thing again, so thank you. Keith Burr, who is Ben Affleck? Keith, don't be an asshole. I know who you are. Keith's a good friend of mine. We went out for wings just last week or the week before. Brought a few of my DVDs too. I want those back, Keith. Stop being an asshole on my channel and bring me my shit back. I'm just kidding. He's a good friend of mine. I'll be seeing him probably next week, so yeah. Making fun of my not knowing who Ben Affleck was again. Anyway, Mr. Baby Lunlanen. YouTube names just bother me because they're all clumped together and it's ugh. Anyway, in talking of games, did you ever play or look over the ships using the Star Trek game Star Trek Klingon Academy? Yes, we refer to Klingon Academy actually in our Bird of Prey episode. I forget which part, but if you watch the extended one, you'll see it because you'll see the whole thing. But yes, we do refer to Klingon Academy, not any specific ships per se, but we will do those eventually. So if there's anything unique from that game, we'll definitely be covering it at some point down the road. But we do talk about Chang and how he came to get the power and how he got his eye patch, things like that. Next one is from Ken S. SJW. Yeah, somebody said SJW in the last one. I'm like, what's that mean? It's used to refer to people who advocate on the internet for social justice, whether it's feminism or civil rights or equality for LGBT people or socioeconomic issues. I should clarify, it's used mostly by sexist, racist, homophobic, privileged assholes who are quite comfortable with the status quo and don't like uppity women, the N-word, fags, whores, besieged by their pedestal. It was originally meant to mock the effectiveness of merely being online warriors. The W stood for the W instead of taking more direct action in the real world. As through digital media has no worth of meaning, but metasized into broader contempt for anyone trying to make the world a better for opposed groups of people. The main point to take away from all this is that 100% of the people who use the term SJW as some kind of insult are pampered fuckwads who are content in the world is shit for other people, as long as they're within their personal comfort margins, and who resent it and cry there are no real victims. Thank you, Ken SW, for clarifying that. I probably read that all wrong. I do these in the morning. I've only had one coffee, and I sound like an idiot probably reading that. But that's what you get sometimes when you tune into me. This didn't say during it. Another one from SFB Addict. I heard an Australian describe a Canadian once. They're like Australians, but with manners. That's how we've been described a lot. We're like Americans, but with manners. or very nice. Yes, yeah, it's a good. Every Australian I've met has been super nice. I like the Australians, and I would love to go to Australia sometime. So don't knock yourself. Australians are awesome. Another from SFB Addict. Whenever you are forced to pause a CL like that, you should do it by do a penance by wearing something silly for the rest of the CL, like a dwarf's helmet or a bow tie or pink glasses tinters. And then he goes on to say, SSJs, social justice warriors, the people behind the Confederate flag row and others, they have nothing better to do with their lives than to use their computers to harass people online, etc. Thank you for clarifying that, SFB Addict. And maybe I should wear something silly after I say and I know I've said before in this video. So, take that. Alright, so now it's time to move on to a few other things that I've talked about. This is already a long video. Oh my god, it's 25 minutes long already. That's usually the length of these. I got a few things to talk about. First of all, the patch you see on over my shoulder here and the one on the wall over here, which will now be behind me on all Trekyards episodes of my Starship USS Executioner, was done by Cal Shantz Jr. Thank you very much, Cal. You did a great job on those, and we really appreciate everything you've been able to do for us at Trekyards. Even came up with a Trekyards patch, which you can see on the Trekyards Facebook group. There's two of them that he designed, and we are looking into getting those made soon, possibly. So stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll have baseball caps, and we got shirt ideas. We got a lot of great stuff on the go right now. And I've thought about doing a news section, kind of in the Captain's Logs. Something interesting about Star Trek that you might not have known, and I might not do it in every Captain's Log, but I mean, kind of like a very, very super mini condensed version of Trekyards where you learn something really cool. Like, did you know that the bridge modules for the ship are plug and play? You pull out the old module, the whole bridge, bring in a new one, plug it in, and it lines up with all the things, and it's got all the new components in the bridge. Plug it in, and you're way to go. That's why there's a new bridge in every movie, just because they're plug and play devices, which is a brilliant idea. You can plug and play a lot of main components in the ship like that. So I mean, that's something really cool to know. Not a lot of people know that. That's why there's a different bridge in the cage as opposed to TOS, and why there's a different bridge for the motion picture, Star Trek 2, etc., etc. So very cool. I've also been thinking of doing a contest of some sort and maybe having some giveaways. I got a lot of cool stuff from my buddy Noel, and a lot of it are duplicates and stuff. So I've been thinking maybe doing some kind of contest. So if you guys can put contest suggestions either on the Captain's Logs or on Trekyards itself in the comments below, we will definitely consider that, and maybe we'll have a few giveaways and some cool Star Trek stuff that you guys can win, and see how that goes. Samuel recently attended a convention in London, England, and he got to interview quite a few famous Star Trek celebrities. So we're going to be releasing those probably starting next week, I believe he said, as a weekly supplement to our regular mission briefing and regular Trekyards episodes. You have three doses of Trekyards every week. These are called Trekyards Live, and he's basically he interviews Tim Russ, he interviews Alec Cridge, the Borg Queen, Ezri Dax, a few other people, and he talks to them about starships and things like that. So it's going to be a quick, like 5 minute episode talking to them, and it's called Trekyards Live, and look forward to that, guys. Should be out next week, and we're going to do one a week, probably till October-ish, which is our 1-year anniversary for Trekyards. So that's something very cool. So he talks to Tim Russ about Icarus from Renegades, as well as Voyager, and I saw it. It was at the end of the day. Tim Russ is very tired, and he wants to kind of go, but he gave us a few minutes of his time, and he talked to us about the Voyager design, and even showed us where his quarters were on the ship, ish. But you'll see what I mean when you see the interview. So stay tuned for that. So some celebrities coming on Trekyards. We got a lot of cool stuff on the go, and I wish I could tell you about all of it, but I can't. It's top secret. So yes. We're also thinking of maybe starting an online store of sorts where we can sell some merchandise, but we want to do probably pre-orders of a lot of it. We might get a list together of what we'll have available, what we're thinking of having available. We don't want to fork out all this money to create all these items and then have nobody buy them. So we might do a poll on the Trekyards page soon that has all the items that we were considering, and then whether, like, who would like to purchase them, and a rough idea of prices perhaps, but it might just start out as a poll of a few things that we're thinking of, and then you guys can chime in, let us know what you think would be the best, because then we might do pre-order thing where if you pay, we will get the order placed, get the stuff, and then send them off to you. So that way we're not out of pocket, because we don't have a lot of money. We're just regular guys. So it's something to consider. Think about it. If you have any great ideas as well, put those in the comments. We've already thought of patches, baseball caps, t-shirts, a lot of t-shirt ideas, calendars, a few other things. If you could think of anything else that's cool, put it in the comments below. Another thing, Samuel, Commander Calkins has a question. He's got his wall of ships behind him now. He hasn't added anything to it in quite a while. He's wondering what ship you would like to see on it. Keep in mind, almost all of them are on there right now. He's got a lot on there. But if there's anything new or unique that you guys know about that you haven't seen on his wall, or you know that he might not have, put it in the comments. He wants to know how he should expand his wall and what he should add. And as you notice, my wall behind me in Trekyards is changing all the time. If you look here, there's going to be new episodes with this here. These are all my original design emblems that Cal Shantz Jr. did. So this is always evolving and changing and just shuffling around a little bit. So there's always going to be able to tell when an episode was filmed kind of by the wall. Also, there's my model table. It's a little bit busy right now. I got a lot of stuff on the go there. So yeah, I got to do another refit build video soon. I got the next few steps that I need to do in that, so I'm looking forward to getting that underway and sharing that with you guys. And we're at 31 minutes. I'm going to cut this short very soon. We're also working on the Trekyards backstory. I mean, we have our characters kind of created by Sean Turanjo, who drew up those pictures for us of me in my TOS outfit, Samuel in his Nemesis style outfit. We are looking at developing a project, probably just starting out with calendars and whatnot, but we're going to have a whole story behind us in character, in universe, as the Trekyards team. It's kind of a temporal thing, but not, because I'm TOS and he's next gen. So don't think temporal, oh my god, you're going to always be messing with time. That's not really the thing. But we have a lot of great stuff on the go for that, and some really exciting news that I want to tell you guys, but I just can't yet. Because you know that we work with some great people, some great designers of original Star Trek, and maybe some of them are involved with this project, maybe designing a few things, doing a few things, helping us out. I don't know. Don't ask me, I just work here. No, actually I do know, and I wish I could tell you, but I can't. Teasers. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. I think that's about it for this Captain's Log. 33 minutes. We're probably going to end up about 35 minutes, because we are filming with Steve Neal later today, and tomorrow we're filming with Rob Burnett and Larry Nemechek. If you don't know who those are, look them up. They're worth knowing. And yeah, Steve Neal later today. And yesterday we filmed with Andrew Probert. And Monday, me and Samuel had a 3-hour-long catch-up meeting about the convention. And Tuesday we filmed a few mission briefings and a few other things. So it's been a busy Trekyard week this week, which is supposed to be my week off. But I love you guys so much that I don't mind taking time out of my personal life to give you Trekyards. So keep that in mind, guys. Love you guys. All right, I will talk to you all very soon. This is Captain Foley, signing off until next time. See you guys later.